wanted to do a short review of the Brownies third line sea lion. There aren't too many of these online, and I wish that we had the opportunity to watch an in-depth user review before we spent $8,000 on our unit. If you don't watch through to the end of this video, let me just say right now, don't waste your money on this unit. One, it's not going to work as you expect, and two, you might drown yourself or somebody else. So before any further, just let me say I've been a scuba instructor for the last 30 years. I'm not a newbie. I know a little bit about these sort of things, so keep that in mind as I go through the review. And let's get started. Let's dive into this thing. Alright, so let's start with the good. As far as I can tell, the only thing that's well designed on this system are the weight belts. The weight belt is where the down supply, your air supply, hooks onto this clip here. Weight belts are well made, and the nice thing is there's these pockets open up and your weights are kept in these sleeves and are easily put back into the pocket. So that's the good. Let's go on to the bad. So here's your float and compressor system. Brownies says that you can have up to 4 divers supplied by this lithium ion battery for up to 3 hours. In our experience, in reality, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. After that point, the compressor cuts out, doesn't give you any warning, and you're out of air. We use our Brownies third long sea lion for commercial purposes. We have a tour company. We do diving, we do hookah diving, boat tours, land tours, and we've been taking out guests on the Brownies third lung and have found that after 10 to 15 minutes without warning, you'll be out of air at depth. There's no audible alarm. You don't know when this is happening. Typically, with the tank that they have supplied, the reservoir, you'll probably, although we can't tell when the compressor is stopping, probably have about 2 breaths left after the compressor stops, and then you're completely out of air. This obviously isn't an ideal situation when you're diving with guests or anybody, and we tried to have this addressed by Brownies. Our operation is in the Caribbean, so it's not reasonable for us to try to ship a unit back to them. So Brownies' solution was for us to destroy one of our units, and then they sent us a replacement. So with our first unit, what it would do, it would run for about 10 to 15 minutes, shut off, and then the LED display, which is right here, it would continue to show the battery level, even though it wasn't operational. And once we opened the hatch, closed it again, the compressor would start to work again. Which again wasn't ideal when it stopped working when you were at depth with guests. So the second unit they sent us behaved exactly the same, the only difference being when it would cut out, we would no longer have a display here. We would open it up, close it again, and it would sometimes restart, but the display wasn't active after the compressor had stopped. Now, I know you might think that this was user error, but nothing could be more simple than operating this system. You have your depth settings set at the approximate depth you think you'll be diving to, and then turn it off. And that's all there is to it. Can't really screw it up. Another design flaw in the system, I think, is this reservoir tank. Looks like an afterthought. Would have been much better to have integrated it into the float here, but you have this tank dragging along beside the float. Instead, just an extra piece of equipment, extra bit of encumbrance. You can't obviously integrate it into this float because the material they use as a bladder is so inferior that after about 10 dives, a seam came undone, and we had to replace that bladder at our expense. So at this point, we've had 2 units behaving exactly the same after spending $8,000 on the unit. and Brownies refuses to give us a refund. Clearly, we can't use this any longer with our guests or our staff. It's simply unsafe to be diving and have a compressor stop providing you with air without warning. I know there's other units that will give an audible alarm if there's a problem. This one doesn't. The first warning that you have that there's been a malfunction is you no longer have air. So these are the regulators. They're not compatible with the pressures you would use on regular scuba. So when you decide that it's no longer safe to use your Brownies system, these regulators become useless to you. So this is basically now a $8,000 anchor. Brownies refuses to stand by their product and give us a refund for something that we can't use. My suggestion would be, if you're looking to buy a surface supplied, battery operated hookah system, that you look elsewhere. Brownies support is abysmal. Their product development is clearly unsafe and not consumer friendly. This thing came to market much too early without adequate testing. Eventually they are going to kill somebody, I would expect. We're not going to allow that to be our staff or our guests, so we're not using this system anymore. We've ordered an alternative from one of Brownies' competitors. So I hope that this review sheds some light on Brownies' system. I'm not going to be doing an in-water review. I've done about 25 dives on this system. I'm done with that. It's never fun being at depth and finding that you've got no air left. It's not like on scuba where it becomes low and you can feel it coming, you can feel it happening, and you come up to shallower depth. With this, you are out. Obviously not a situation anybody wants to be in, but certainly not one that you want to be in with beginner divers or guests, paying guests, or really anybody for that matter. So steer clear of Brownies. Steer clear of their Sea Lion lithium ion powered compressor. Does not supply 2 to 4 divers for up to 3 hours. You can expect it to work for 10 to 15 minutes.